From Japan, Shunsuke TOGAMI! From China, WANG CHUQIN!
And here he comes, WANG CHUQIN. What else is there to say about the man those screaming fans have been waiting for? World champion, a three-time WTT Grand Smash champion, and somebody who knows his way to win WTT champions. Last time out, he beat SHATOU in the final hurdle in Chongqing this year, 2025. It's the best of 7, and we've seen a couple of matches that haven't gone anywhere near that so far. Most recently, of course, that incredible women's quarterfinal we've just witnessed. But here is their head-to-head in WTT through this one. And it really is one to savor. We've got the home crowd supporting the home hero. We've got a huge amount of Chinese fans in here to support one of the undoubted superstars of sport, not just table tennis, sport in China. Here they go.
Red or black? Red. Black for you. Service. Side.
Would you just listen to that? The kind of noise we normally...
$1,000 for the champion, also quite exciting. Tatsumi Ishikawa will be coming in.
Yep.
But the fan vote here, 84% behind WANG CHUQIN, 16 remaining behind Shunsuke TOGAMI, who will have slightly more towels, I would think, at least from T-League with his name on it.
There's one thing I will predict ahead of this one. There will be repeated warnings about using flashes in the crowd. It's just that thing. It's the WANG CHUQIN show. It happens. Fans want to grab a shot. You can see the phones are out, the cameras are out. Wang Hao, impassive as ever. He's been there, he's done it, he's seen it all. But even he must be noticing the noise in this Infinity Arena.
I think it's closer to home court advantage than almost ever for Shunsuke TOGAMI, but I would still favor WANG CHUQIN in terms of home court advantage by fans.
Left.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're making more noise for sure. How good has WANG CHUQIN looked in your eyes? We've seen a lot of him play. He's looked so impressive here, so powerful and commanding in his statement wins in his first 2 outings.
Yeah, I've seen him in quite solid form. I think recent history, he looked intimidating. In the late rounds of some recent events, he's just been so determined, so stable. Here for me, there have been so many other wonderful distractions that I just haven't really remembered.
Which is ominous in itself.
Right.
And in the USA, this is what we saw. Remember, he had an almost out-of-control runaway train in Tomokazu Haramoto to deal with, and he just took all the steam out of that particular locomotive. He looks as if he is in the right place. He's in the zone. Oh. When you watch him play, what do you look out for early on? Early signs, triggers, movements, shots he plays or doesn't play?
For WANG CHUQIN, for me, it's sort of like when you look at the greatest. If you look at Ma Long, it's is he comfortable? Does he question himself? How's the confidence? Is he going for his shots? And here, this is very comfortable. I mean, right from the start, the score does tell the story. He doesn't leave early. There's no panic. He's calm. He's trusting himself to be in position. He knows that he's well prepared.
And even at this embryonic stage of this match, the pressure's straight onto TOGAMI. Straight away. He's way behind in terms of score, and it looks as if he's going to have to force the issue.
Very little rotation on that serve. WANG CHUQIN with the perfectly angled racket. This is what you want. You want to be confident enough that you don't have to play out of your comfort zone. Just to say, my standard game is good enough. Don't overthink it. But this is the speed that TOGAMI can bring, and it's his first point on the scoreboard. Near the table, rocket power, and it's the forehand. Barely any backswing. He's been doing this throughout the Bundesliga for some time. as many players from around the world do go to Germany to train and compete, make a living.
Well, he recovered miraculously for one, couldn't hit the other. Just earlier on, going back to that point he won, the point in itself, but also the huge ovation it received, that'll give him a boost, a much-needed boost, Togami here. He's going to need all he can get.
Left. 1-7.
Still only 23 years old, Togami, the junior of the pair by 2 years. What do you make of his temperament, his composure, Togami?
Oh, he's the calmest, nicest guy you'll ever meet. He's fired up at the right times. I still think back to 2022. And the reason is, temperament is one thing. How you behave, I mean, we've seen players from Scandinavia completely just blow their lid and then come back and win. Same with Truls against Im Jong-hoon in 2021 at the World Championships. A racket went flying and he went 4 games in a row to follow. Doesn't work for everybody. Know yourself. It's a lifelong mission.
Oh, well played, sir. One was an act almost of self-preservation. The other was an emphatic winner.
Quick cutter there to the wide backhand, sends it right back to a man who needs to recoil, and Lionheart is still strong and still up, but that's 3 in a row for Shunsuke Togami. It looks like a completely different ballgame now.
Yeah, almost to look a shot then from Chujin as that one came up. We're only at game 1. Listen to this crowd. Every point.
I don't expect it to change. It'll be that way through the match. I think at this point, just consider it the norm. Shunsuke Togami here is dealing with a player who's got one of the best serves, if not the best serve in the game. He could have chosen anybody to build the perfect player, and he chose himself.
Togami, though, is just gradually getting a foothold in this game, in this match.
The point I make about choosing himself, I think, is interesting because he had an opportunity to do something to sort of signal humility. But he chose
That was in the WTT feature where they asked players to build a composite best player,
yes,
right?
and he chose instead straight up honesty, and I love that.
Yeah.
That's important. It's so refreshing sometimes to hear someone tell the truth when everyone else is acting humble.
But it also means that you back yourself, right? You're showing full faith in yourself. Yeah, I've got the best serve.
Exactly.
But having done that, you've got to live up to it, which in itself is a good form of motivation.
We talked about pressure earlier in the broadcast. I can't think of a player with much more pressure than Wang Chuqin, not even the world #1. Wang Chuqin's been through a lot. He's got a lot on his shoulders, a lot of people depending on him.
But Shunsuke Togami is doing a good job of hanging in here.
Just a few minutes back, it was 1-7.
And amidst a cacophony in the Infinity Arena, he's within 2.
Left. 7-9.
Oh, yes. The poacher.
I like watching the feet of Wang Chuqin on the receive. In general, I think it's interesting when you have that camera angle to look at the receiver's feet, how they just sort of wiggle around their toes, make sure that they're in the perfect position to move and spring, and now 3 game points for Wang Chuqin.
Only needs 1. Wins the first to 7. But already one thing that we can take away from that is the quality of some of the play we're seeing here between these two. No great surprise in terms of the identity of the winner.
No, I was distracted by my own thoughts. In the beginning, I was listening, and then I just thought about all the craziness that's happened here, all that there is to play for, all the upsets, fans, the sold-out crowd. I mean, it's just been epic here in Yokohama. This all leading up to a smash in Truls' backyard.
Yeah, what a time. What a time for table tennis. A historic event here, a historic one to come in Malmo.
First of its kind, the first year, 2025, with 4 grand smashes. The calendar is filling out nicely. 2026 already up.
Yeah, more to come. The same, more or less. Just Doha added in champions. And to your point as well about what we're seeing, in particular in the men's division, you look at what's happened here this week, you look at the identity of the players. I mean, we've just seen Kanak Jar make the semis, for example. Something's interesting is happening, but there's one constant, and it's pretty much this guy. Okay, Lin Shidong had been a constant, beaten here this time, raising questions about maybe vulnerability from him. But apart from WANG CHUQIN, there are very few certainties in the men's game right now.
I might be a little bit late to come to this realization, but in terms of the timing of the Shidong show and the most turbulence WANG CHUQIN ever had, they were simultaneous, and that might not be a coincidence.
How about this start to the second from SHUNSUKE TOGAMI, which has got the crowd whipped up. Now remember, of course, one of the features of great supporters, whatever sport you're in, but in particular table tennis, is that they make a lot of noise when your player's just lost a point. There's a lot of genuine support trying to get your guy back up.
Beautiful extension. This is amazing here, the way he reaches out to get that so far in front. Shunsuke Togami, one soft opening, spin, and then way out in front. Again, on the tippy toes, reaching. Not an easy ball to play that far in front of you and still keep the wrist back for that extra snap for speed.
A very different dynamic to the start of this game. Finally, WANG CHUQIN gets on the board in game number 2, has a little chat with himself as the crowd continues to go nuts.
I think we have to remember Shunsuke Togami in 5 encounters has only won 1 game in their entire career. 1 game out of 5 matches.
But if ever you could surf a wave of support, well, you'd do it here in Yokohama, in the Infinity Arena, and he's got plenty behind him, and he's up and he's on the board and he's balanced and he's heading in the right direction in this game.
I see what you did with the balanced and the surfing there. I like it. And on the board, man, tomorrow I'm going to write you, be like, hey, those puns you made like 24 hours ago, they were hilarious. Really sharp guy, John. Wow.
Well, it makes us change some dad jokes anyway, let's put it that way.
Unbelievable. Next level.
Here comes CHUQIN.
When I look at these two, there's one score that comes to mind, and it's 9-4. That's the one that'll keep him awake. Shunsuke was up 9-4 in Chengdu at the World Championships, what would have eliminated China in the semifinals of a team event, after Tomo won both of his matches against the World 1 and 2.
Oh, he misses. Yeah, and those are huge moments, aren't they? As a player, I guess that could be somewhere, or would have been somewhere. Not right now, though, in his mind, surely, unless something similar happens later on in this match.
I think Mima Ito and YINGSHA had one of their own at 4-4 in T2. 1 point would win $100,000. Just these moments, these little moments that affect us. It's like how childhood shapes us for life.
Yeah, sure. But then again, you've always got a chance to shape your destiny. He wins this game, his second ever, as you say, against WANG CHUQIN, and suddenly he shifts things, the narrative. But he's got to be patient.
Might sound funny to admit this, but this is the 3rd time I've had Phantom Edge where I thought I heard something, but neither player blinked, and in that replay you could see it pretty clearly missed.
Might have just clipped the thigh of CHUQIN on the way by.
Which is hard as a rock and sounds like a table.
There you are.
4-8.
In a best of 7, we tend to see the timeouts come a little bit later. The idea is right there. Just trying to make sure he stays on top of the heavy spin.
to that previous point on the serve return from Chuqin when he dives to the right and then wraps that awesome forehand around it. You know he's really on song, but Togami follows up with the next point and edges closer to winning the second.
And that point showed maturity for me, that he can slow down the rally, play spin, and keep WANG CHUQIN guessing.
Nearly there. It's 10-5, 5 game points.
Again, a demonstration of the variety. Heavy spin here. Standard. Doesn't go for broke. Plays safe spin for placement.
And how about that? A second ever career game won again. Oh my word, would you just listen to that? Wherever you're watching around the world, this is the Infinity Arena coming to you loud in your ears. 1-1 in this men's singles quarterfinal.
TOGAMI reserve, level.
And let's just remind you that whoever should emerge from this titanic tussle, well, they would face either Truls Murgaard or An Jae-han in the semi-final.
He's used the change of pace very effectively, Shunsuke Togami. Now, you asked me early on, what do I look for in WANG CHUQIN, or something to that effect? How he appears anyway. And whenever you see him hesitate, guessing a little bit, uncomfortable, that's credit to a very intentionally playing Shunsuke Togami.
Just change the direction there, subtly, but enough to throw off the Japanese opponent.
Backhand from just inside the depth of the forehand side of the table. Good placement of the serve to make sure that Togami couldn't get too far inside the table on that receive. And this one drifts a little bit longer, and he's right there to spank it and send it to its room. Ball, you have been punished. A serve that was out of position.
Is he normally this demonstrative, this vocal, Togami? I mean, no one matches Harimoto levels, but he's playing up to the crowd here.
This is a little special.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. 1, they're head-to-head. 2, home soil. 3, how much he needs this for confidence. You don't want to have a thorn in your side that you can't remove throughout your career. And obviously, by world rankings, it wouldn't be a shock. But still, it's important to prove to yourself. Kanakja, this was his first time beating Gang Cho.
Everybody, and he referenced that straight away, didn't he, in his interview?
And this isn't a patriotic thing, but Lily Zhang was 0-10 against Du Hoi Kem, and she got through here for her first time. And everybody has their first when they do.
And it's just fascinating, back to my point about the wonderful state of table tennis at the moment, that there is this fluidity. People are rewriting stories.
Truls
3-4
in Paris didn't exactly have a wonderful record against WANG CHUQIN coming into that. Two very active players here, and one thing we haven't seen in a while, WANG CHUQIN lunging like this, the leaping Lionheart as he comes back into the table to get that extra body weight behind it. WANG CHUQIN fans with the towels out. That one's too good. This receive was not a bad receive. We might get another camera angle of it, but it didn't look very high. Okay, now we'll have a chance to see. Just a little height on it, and that's enough. He smoothly gets in behind the ball for the forehand flick.
So that's in his mind already to make that move into the table?
I think as soon as he sees the racket open up, get under the ball, that's when.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, Togami's playing well here, but even he doesn't get on that.
Just to clarify a little bit, in terms of what's on his mind, he knows it's a possibility. WANG CHUQIN, when he's serving, what the more likely outcomes are. He just looks for the early signs so that he knows what to do next.
Yeah, it's just that he got there so quickly and so effectively on a ball that, as you said, wasn't particularly floaty. Oh, that's a nice way to respond. Having seen one that he couldn't cope with, he just laces one past his opponent.
Yeah, this is as fast as can be. Spin comes in the Chiquita and frappéed right back. Get me some strawberries, some ice, and whatever liquid you need in there for a beautiful smoothie right now. It's exactly what Togami is.
Frappéed as a verb. Yep, I like that one.
Googled, frappéed. There are lots of them.
3-point game here. Togami's not exactly shaken, but 3 points in the nature of this match is some gap.
Let Mr. Wang make sure when served not to hide the ball.
Behind the face.
Yeah, behind the head.
They do call him Dato, right? That's his nickname.
Well, I stopped calling him that, even though it is his nickname, because he sort of suggested that he doesn't love it.
Sure, who would? Also, it tends to be a name given to you when you're young and your body hasn't grown into itself yet.
China's got a lot of fun nicknames that in other parts of the world might sound a little bit like body shaming, but just sort of affectionate terms. I heard teammates refer to Fang Zhendong as Xiaopang earlier today. Little Fatty for those of you that don't speak Mandarin.
It's very common in this part of the world. You'll have Uncle Fatty's restaurant and so forth. It's just common, isn't it?
Yeah.
4 points now, the gap, as Togami serves.
But to your point, the serve toss did fall behind that head.
Whatever the size may be.
Right. Just enough to block the ball on the serve toss. And as it's been brought up on multiple occasions, it's the receiver in a righty versus lefty battle. The view is worse.
But tell me this, how does Werner Koller see that from there?
It's partially speculation.
Okay, we'll come back to that if it happens again. 4 points, the difference here. Wang Chuqin within 2 of re-establishing his lead in the match. Nearly there. He resisted the temptation to go all in there, Chuqin, and it paid off.
Sometimes players are making a shot recognizing where they'll have time to get back to, what sets them up, a combination.
That's sent the ball kid scurrying off in search of the ball, and he saves one of those 5-game points.
You know what's most exciting to me about this? Simply that when Shunsuke Togami, the opponent to Wang Chuqin, wins a point, there's almost a balanced level of cheer in the crowd.
Yes.
How many other venues can you think of where anybody versus Wang Chuqin will make the stadium just as noisy by winning a point?
100%. That's what makes this such a special occasion. It's a you've got to be here moment, this. Only here in Japan. But it's the Wang Chuqin fans who scream louder now because he wins that 3rd game. He moves into a 2-1 lead in a tussle that's already shaping up to be something special. What an event this has been. It's captivated the public's imagination. It's drawn spectators to spectacles just like this. And why wouldn't you want to be here? It's pouring with rain outside, but they're here. It's dry, it's hot, it's special.
Back to serve, Lavo.
And it does feel as if it's got warmer in here. There's just so much going on, so much energy in this space.
Yeah, I forget how that works. I noticed it was hotter in here today, but maybe with all the extra tickets they sold for those extra seats, it's just more body heat.
Yeah. He's going to go through highs and lows in this match, Togami, but he's going to try and somehow manage the occasion, which could prove difficult. Because I don't know how many of his fans will have come in today genuinely believing that he's going to win this one. Of course, he has to believe that. But what he mustn't do is he mustn't lose his belief. Timeout take. A last word or two from Ueda there to Shunsuke Togami. Difficult really to make out everything being said there because of the din that we're hearing in this arena. But the thoughts of Chinoeda there primarily on the footwork, the feet and the movement therein of his player. Needing to move better, he reckons.
It's funny to say it as some of the fastest feet in the game, but it's true. The upper body knows what to do when the feet are in position. Sometimes you just get paused up a little bit, and then the upper body has to try to compensate, and it doesn't work so well. 12 of the last 16 points for Lionheart.
Well, his feet are taking him in all the right places as he picks up another to make it 13 out of 17 points won. And these are bad, dark moments for Shunsuke Togami right now. You just have to stop the rot, don't you? Pick up a point here or there, slow down the momentum of the opponent. Easier said than done, I'm sure.
Stoicism is powerful. This idea that the score is the score, you can't change the past. What you can do is focus on the next point.
And it's going to be interesting to see if he hits his way out of trouble, if he is proactive and aggressive, as we saw there.
Well, in game number 2, he was quite dominant, 11-5, and a big part of it was change of pace. He had the aggression when he needed it. He played slow spin when he needed it, and WANG CHUQIN never got comfortable.
WANG CHUQIN's ability to redirect what's coming at him, because that was a supreme shot from Togami, but it came back and he couldn't cope.
Yeah, good reach there from the wide forehand, and then he recoils for the backhand. The quality in his shots. Again, WANG CHUQIN, when he's on, is just such a complete player.
And when you see someone like Wong Hao up there applauding, it's not just rah-rah, it's not just, yeah, I'm supporting my man. There's genuine admiration for a high-quality piece of play, and he would know.
It's important. It's like being honest all the time. People know it means something when you say something. He doesn't get up for show, you're right. When he's standing, that's a big deal.
And his player will know that, and that in turn will feed into what he does right. So Shunsuke Togami somewhere, somehow has to cobble together something here to stay in this. And it's getting loud, and it's a fervent atmosphere in here, and there are voices and screams, and you feel that we're at really a tipping point in this match, one way or another.
Perfect placement here as WANG CHUQIN receives that reverse pendulum serve and gets in with the counter into the middle. Against a player who's so fast and so agile. Look at that. Takes the legs right out of him, says pick a side, and again, Wong Hao on his feet to show how big that point was.
And that wasn't just polite applause, that was a double fist clinch. He knows now is the time. 8-4 with serve, 2-1 up.
A little tighter serve here. Shunsuke good with the soft hands on the receive. Tough place to be in the rally. Behind the table, tries to fish it and keep it baseline, but WANG CHUQIN in control will rarely be lobbed or fished down.
It's often the case this, Adam, but they look like the two calmest people in this place. I don't think even we could lay claim to that, because we're getting invested in this as well. And he's nearly there in the fourth. 5 game points for WANG CHUQIN to take what would feel like a huge step towards the semi-finals.
Left, 5-10.
A jumping forehand from behind the table. Both of his feet were in the air when he countered this. You couldn't have done this better for show if this was just playtime. But right now, one brushing, beautiful backhand, the wraparound. Look at that. It was like he was skateboarding over a speed bump, 1 foot at a time. Man.
What even is that?
That right there is Lionheart squared. This guy right now is pulling stuff out of the hat. A rabbit is just an appetizer for him.
11-5.
他都会拆3码，都打出来。 这个前短板呢，他无非就是乱搏、乱变，还有可能开始发长了，注意这种两边。
It feels as if WANG CHUQIN is getting closer and closer to an encounter with either Truls Molgaard or An Jae-hun. Not just because of the shot making or the reaction, the celebration, but the scoreboard is suggesting that for SHUNSUKE TOGAMI to try and even think about winning the remaining games just seems like such a tall order. Adam's still coming to terms with that shot that we just saw from WANG CHUQIN. And for me, it wasn't just the shot, it's the fact that he celebrated so vociferously. Even he knew that he'd done something amazing.
Both of the shots. He made 2 shots in a row that, as individuals, would have been their own viral videos.
Now, he needs that. And he doesn't just need to win, he needs to win, celebrate, and make something special happen.
Left 2.
There are many different ways to win a point, and there was a show of patience there from WANG CHUQIN.
And on the other side, just the grim reality that it's going to take something extra special out here. That said, Togami's leading. That was the first point that had been taken from him this game. I think he knows that there's going to have to be a little caution here on his side.
Oh!
Drop shots aren't easy. WANG CHUQIN doesn't get a second bounce, but he brings Togami back into the table and leaves him way near the ground for that ball. There was caution. It's funny, right after saying there won't be much at all, it felt like this point was cautious from both until that swat off the bounce. Almost everything early in the rally was a little bit more spin, a little bit more safe.
What a perfect shot against a player who's just made it to the table and is backpedaling. 2-3 now. CHUQIN back in front. This is as good as it gets. The crowd, the atmosphere, the stage, the occasion, the quality of play.
WANG CHUQIN's a player who used to make a lot of noise when he was younger. After taking a few months out of the game for tossing a racket, he came back quiet and focused. Oh, the quality on this turnaround, the pivot on the backhand corner. WANG CHUQIN, arguably the best forehand in the game, drives that one home on the parallel. Take a look one more time. Fluid backhands, 2 in a row. And then the turn, he had to lean. The feet didn't have time to reposition for the upper body to get out of the way on that ball. The reason I brought up his vocality is he gave us a good chole earlier on. And that just goes to show you how big these moments are.
Yep.
Left 4-2.
For the briefest of moments, it felt like we were in a different stadium again.
And he wins that one. There's the celebration. They don't come out very often, but when they do, he knows just how big of a play and a win it is.
This is a guy who's been relatively silent in recent history, and after we've read all his interviews about the acts he has to follow from Fan Zhendong and Ma Long to be the rock, the reliable staple needed for China at the biggest events.
Now he's turning it on.
There's just so much focus from him. It's monk-like.
But when he is able to play with a degree of abandon and express himself, it's a thing of beauty. It really is. When he takes off any handbrake that might exist. Because this one's now rushing towards its climax, to a finale. And it's a finale that's got his name written all over it.
Think about the sound we heard on that final shot. It wasn't a sound of celebration. That was simply just the effort to make that shot happen.
Oh, and he's going to go for them all. That's the one where he falls away from the table and gives it everything and just denied by the net cord.
It almost seemed as if he was saying to himself, maybe I should have gone cross-court inside out, unreachable to Togami's forehand, which would have given him more length on the table to work with.
7-3.
It's a tumult inside this arena. No matter what Togami tries, this man has the answers. WANG CHUQIN is simply imperious right now.
It all starts with being close to the table on serve and keeping that space. Togami's going to do everything he can to stay near the table because when he backs up, as fast as his feet are, as strong as his legs are, it is simply too much ground to cover.
8-3.
in the context of the grand scheme of things, represented a chance. Maybe one of the last ones Togami's going to get here.
I know you asked me what form I see WANG CHUQIN in right now, and I didn't have much to say. It's crazy how good he is, but I think we've just gotten used to it. This is the standard that he's set.
Yeah. And it's a standard that, quite frankly, no one could live with. 7 match points. A match that, after 2 games, looked as if it might go the distance, has just hurtled now towards its conclusion. And there it is. Wow.